The salvage yard on Creven 7 stretched for kilometers, a graveyard of forgotten wars and abandoned technology. Rhett Kalin wiped the grease from his hands as he surveyed the newest arrival, a massive containment unit covered in symbols he couldn't read. The thing hummed with residual power, its surface scarred by centuries of neglect. Just another piece of junk, Rhett muttered, though something about it made his skin prickle. He'd been a mechanic for 15 years, fixing everything from mining equipment to derelict warships. Humans weren't known for their strength or their longevity in the galactic community, but they had a reputation for being able to fix anything. It was a humble existence, but Rhett preferred it that way. No politics, no wars, just him, his tools, and the quiet satisfaction of making broken things work again. The containment unit's lock mechanism was ancient, built by a civilization that had disappeared long before humanity reached the stars. Rhett studied it for hours, his curiosity overriding his better judgment. The symbols weren't just decorative, they were warnings. He could feel it in his bones. But warnings had never stopped him before. He worked through the night, carefully bypassing layers of security that would have killed anyone less patient. The final lock gave way with a hiss of escaping atmosphere, and the containment unit split open like a mechanical flower. Inside, suspended in a crystalline matrix, was a creature unlike anything Rhett had ever seen. It was massive, easily 3 meters tall even in its crouched position. Its form was lupine but enhanced with what looked like organic armor plating that gleamed like obsidian. Ancient scars crisscrossed its body, each one telling a story of battles fought and survived. Its fur was the color of midnight, and even unconscious it radiated an aura of raw, terrifying power. Restraints covered every part of its body, not just physical chains, but neural dampeners and energy suppressors that dug into its flesh. Rhett's stomach turned. Whatever this creature was, someone had gone to extraordinary lengths to keep it imprisoned. Nobody deserves this, he whispered. He should have called the authorities. He should have sealed the container and walked away. Instead, Rhett did what he always did when faced with something broken. He began to fix it. The restraints were sophisticated, designed to cause pain if tampered with. But Rhett had dealt with worse. He worked methodically, hour after hour, disabling each system with the precision of a surgeon. Sweat dripped down his face as he severed the last neural dampener. The creature's eyes snapped open. They were silver, burning with an intelligence that made Rhett stumble backward. The Wolf Guardian rose to its full height, shedding the broken restraints like water. The air itself seemed to bend around it, reality struggling to contain its presence. Rhett grabbed a plasma cutter, a pathetic weapon against such a being, but he refused to go down without trying. The creature looked at him, then at the restraints scattered on the ground. Its massive head tilted slightly, studying the human who had freed it. "I am Valor," it said, its voice like thunder contained in a whisper. The words bypassed Rhett's ears entirely, speaking directly into his mind. The last guardian of the Void Pax, the breaker of fleets, the shadow that devoured the Third Imperium. Rhett's hand trembled. He'd heard legends whispered in the seedier stations, stories of ancient guardians who had been more powerful than entire armadas. Creatures that the old races had feared so much they'd sealed them away rather than face them in battle. "I didn't know," Rhett said, his voice barely steady. I couldn't leave you like that." Valor took a step forward and Rhett braced himself for death. The Wolf Guardian had been enslaved for centuries, tortured by restraints designed to break its spirit. It had every reason to take its rage out on the first living thing it saw. Instead, something impossible happened. Valor knelt. The ancient guardian lowered itself until its massive head was level with Rhett's. One clawed hand pressed against the ground in a gesture of profound respect. "You are not like the others," Valor said, and Rhett could hear something like wonder in its mental voice. "The Kraviks who imprisoned me, they feared power and sought to control it. The Zelthari who studied me, they saw only a weapon to be used. The counselors who forgot me, they lacked the courage even to face what I represented." The Guardian's silver eyes held Rhett's gaze. "But you, small one, you saw suffering and chose compassion. You saw chains and chose freedom. You possessed no strength to compel me, no army to threaten me, no technology to control me. Yet you freed me anyway, expecting nothing in return." Rhett didn't know what to say. His mind was still trying to process the fact that he was talking to a legend, and that legend was kneeling before him. "I'm just a mechanic," he finally managed. I fix things. Yes, Valor said, and if a massive wolf guardian could smile, Rhett thought it might be doing so now. You fix things, including that which the mightiest empires chose to break rather than understand. The guardian rose to its full height once more, but the gesture of respect had been given. In that moment, an ancient pact had been formed, one that transcended species, power, or time. The void pacts are no more, Valor continued. My brothers and sisters fell in the wars before time was properly counted. But you have reminded me why we fought. Not for conquest or glory, but for those who could not fight for themselves. Rhett felt something shift in the air around them. The salvage yard, which had been his entire world moments ago, suddenly seemed very small. Where will you go? He asked. Valor looked up at the stars beginning to emerge in Creven 7's twilight sky. Where the broken need fixing, the Guardian said. Where the enslaved need freeing. Where compassion is needed more than power. The Wolf Guardian looked back at Rhett one final time. And should you ever call small fixer of broken things, I will answer. This I swear on the void itself. Then Valor was gone, vanishing into shadow and starlight. Rhett stood alone in the salvage yard, a simple mechanic who had accidentally changed the fate of the galaxy. He looked down at his oil-stained hands and laughed, a small, disbelieving sound that echoed in the darkness. Somewhere in the distance, a wolf howled, and the stars themselves seemed to listen.